Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our Word of the Day series, where we look at a new word each day and help you to pronounce it correctly in American English. We'll look for accent error patterns you might have on this word. We'll look at similar words and their pronunciation, as well as resources for practicing to be able to use these words fluently in everyday speech. Today's word was a request from several people, both on YouTube and Facebook. And so obviously it's a good word and an important word to talk about. The word today is volume. So we'll break down how to pronounce the word volume. And I also want to mention that because it's Friday, we'll be having our live question and answer class today at 12 o'clock Seattle time, 3 o'clock Eastern time. If you're watching on YouTube, that's going to be in about 2.5 hours. If you're watching on Facebook, that will be right after this class. So I'll be rebroadcasting the word of the day just before we begin our American accent question and answer class to encourage you to jump in on the link there on Facebook and join us live. In the live class, you can ask your questions about difficult words, sounds, anything related to improving your pronunciation and intonation and American accent. Okay, so getting to our word, today's word, as I said, is the word volume. And I always like to begin by looking at the syllable stress in a word, which means that in longer words, one syllable is stretched and longer, might have a clear vowel. The other one tends to be shorter in time, and it may have a reduced vowel. So in the word volume, we have first syllable stress, and the syllable vol is long. The syllable is shorter. You can see that in the dictionary because with the little line that they put right before the stress syllable. If you have trouble with syllable stress, I have many lessons on my intonation playlist and on my website, speechmodification.com, to help you with syllable stress and to help you be hearing it and practicing it. Thinking just about long and short is what we'll talk about in today's class. And looking at volume, we have a pattern that we've seen in several other of our Word of the Day videos, which is that we have the letter O, but the sound ah in this word, volume. And so we want to, in American English, avoid doing any kind of rounding on the O. We don't want volume or volume with too much lip rounding. Also, the V sound presents a challenge for many non-native speakers of English. You may have a tendency to use something closer to a W sound like volume or a B sound like volume, depending on what your native language is. And also there's a sound that's a little between the W and V, like volume, where you don't have a solid V sound at the beginning. So to get that V sound, regardless of which error pattern you may have based on your native language, you want to feel that your lip and teeth come in contact, that the sound can continue and there's airflow. The best way to feel that is to try the sound that F makes, because usually you can make that sound accurately and correctly. You can feel the airflow, you can feel the lip and teeth contacting. Then just turn on our voice. You may find it's harder to sustain that one. You need a little more breath, a little more power. When I'm saying volume, I don't necessarily say volume, but if I can't hold the sound, then I might be blocking the air and my lips might not be in the right position. They might be closing like B, stopping the air, or they might be too weak in the connection like W, and it sounds more like the W or in between W and V sound. So when you have your V and you can put it on va, then you have a way to practice. Of course, practicing on other words with the V sound, if that's an error pattern that you have, you can use my video about W and V to clarify. I also have several videos about B and V, and just looking at words with V and how to practice those. Moving on, we have an L sound, vol, and even though this L is in the middle, it is a dark L, but I don't really have much of a schwa before it. I don't have to say volume. I just want to watch out that I go from the ah, the open ah, and I make sure to lift my tongue for that L, vol. And what happens in the L that's a dark L is that it's not my full tongue lifting. I don't want volume, like light L, I want to just lift the tip and keep the tongue of my back of my tongue a little more open, have a little more space there, like the ah vowel, volume. Next, the letter U. This is a word that has the sound U, and it has this glide y before the oo sound. So in other dialects, you may hear more volume. You want to avoid going right from the L to the oo and have your connecting y sound, volume. I find that I say this word with the oo vowel. I do have a tense, clear vowel, volume. When I looked in one of the dictionary sources that I like, I saw it written with this instead, volume, with a schwa. Now that goes along with our stress pattern of long, short, volume or volume. And so I think it's probably an acceptable American pronunciation. I don't personally use it. I use the oo sound. But if I think about in a longer phrase, the volume of the container, the volume, I can see how that reduced sound could fit in. So you can practice it with an oo or with an Most important is to have it be short in duration. You don't want to have volume with a long U sound. So those are the parts of the word. You can build it slowly, piece by piece. You can put it together. And if you have errors on any of the particular patterns, you can look for resources for other words with V, other words with the dark L, other words with these vowel sounds. I do have a video, several videos about vowels, and my vowels playlist is a good starting point for that. Once I can say volume by itself, I want to begin trying to use it in some short phrases and sentences. So let's try, what's the volume of the container? We had a heavy volume of sales today. Volume is something my students are learning about. Turn up the volume on the music, please. The volume is too loud. Let me try one with volume so that you can hear how that would sound. Can you please turn up the volume on the music? Yeah, so I can hear how both volume or volume would be acceptable in connected speech. I hope that helped you with that tricky word volume, and I hope to see you again in class. As I said, if you're watching on Facebook, that is starting just in a couple of minutes, and you can use the link in this post to take you there, or go to my channel page, Speech Modification Seattle, and then you can join the live class. Today we'll be taking your questions as usual and maybe talking a little bit about the topic of how our accent can affect us professionally, socially, and personally. I'm thinking about some of the recent events in the US and addressing those in terms of what they might mean for non-native language speakers. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you so much for all of your suggestions for the Word of the Day series, and I'm still taking requests. So I do have a long list of words to create, but I'm happy to hear what your words are as well. You can leave those in the comments for this video or any of my videos, and I will be making those videos in the future. I'm just going to quickly check the contents of the comments right now so that I can address any questions that you might have today. Mohammed, thank you for your words, maturity and immature. I can add those to the list. And we have a question from Sheridan about words ending with S sounding like Z, words like shoes and raise, letter S but sound Z. Yes, I have a video about what letter S says at the ends of words. Most frequently, it actually says the Z sound rather than the S sound. And so you can check that out. If you go to Speech Modification channel page, I'll just show you briefly. When you're in YouTube, you can go to the Speech Modification channel, that's Speech Modification Seattle, and you can use the search tools, especially if you're on your desktop. There's a little search box. You could type in S and Z, or you can look at playlists and go to our American Sounds, Sounds of American English, and you'll see that I have several videos about S and Z, about end sound, voiced end sounds, and those should be able to help you. Also, you can check that out on speechmodification.com. Go to my free practice site and type in your question, and you'll see all of the lessons related to that information. But you can also come back to our live class in a couple of hours, and I'll be taking questions live, and I can talk in more detail about your question with S and Z at the ends of words. The Facebook link, if you're watching on Facebook, you can also go to speech modification, search for that on Facebook, and you'll find the lessons there. They're frequently my YouTube videos and lessons from my website. Thanks so much for being a part of class today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in our free question and answer class. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound American, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, guys. See you soon.